2. Hey, everybody, we are live, or as Britt Musburger would say, I guess it's appropriate to use his name. We are looking live at, you are looking live at Zenny62 live stream. Hey, thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm glad that you all are here. A second night in a row, I have an old friend joining me who is important in the history of Oakland, and that man is none other. He loves it when I say that. He loves it when he loves.
You're the important guy in history.
Nah,
about that.
He loves it when I blow smoke up his bun the right way. But the whole point is, he is Chris Dobbins. Chris, how you doing, Chris?
Well, it's great to be here. I don't know about important history, but I'm 46. I guess I am part of history. So
hey,
yeah, I'm getting old.
Oh my, hey, I just turned 56, man. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Happy birthday. That's right.
Thank you. I mean, I don't.
Awesome.
God, I just dawned on me. I'm 56. Holy Christ, I'm 56. I don't know what that means.
You're still sounding good.
Oh, thank you. I mean, how do I look? Anyway, nice to have
you. Look great. You look great.
I know I only got you for a little time, so I'm not going to meander about. Let's get down to business. You are, aside from being a fantastic lawyer in Oakland and Alameda County.
We're trying.
Hey, hey, you're Casey at the bat. You try, you swing, you hit, right? Home run.
That is true. We just keep trying.
Right.
That is true.
You're also a member of the Coliseum Joint Powers Authority Board. Hey, for those who don't know how you got there, tell them how you came to be on the Coliseum JPA board real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's how do you say this? So there are 8 members that make up the board, and I was appointed by, even though I'm a City of Oakland guy, former Oakland School Board guy, lifelong Oakland resident, I was appointed by Nate Miley, who I've known for probably 30 years, and he knew my passion for Oakland sports. We have our organization, Save Oakland Sports, trying to keep all 3 teams in Oakland. We've also, previous incarnations, you and I worked on a number of sports issues in the, around the
choose or lose the A's.
Yeah, first century, and then the 2005 when you ran the was it the
Oakland Alameda County Sports Commission?
Mayor Dellums focus group? Yeah.
Yeah. And that was 2009. That's right. That was the task force that Chris DeBenedetti headed up, right?
Right, but that was earlier in 2009, wasn't it?
It was 2009.
Oh no, that's right. Because that was that's right. No, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, the late Ron Dellums. That was really sad. I had a chance to. I mean, you knew him a lot better than I did, but I've met him a few times, and he was always one of the most engaging speakers I ever met in my life. Whether you agree with him or not, I mean, you saw his passion. I remember one time I spent maybe 20 minutes with him, and my wife's last name is Ponce, and his family, I think his wife's family was from Ponce in Puerto Rico, and we had a great discussion, and just amazing. And I mean, he was the kind of guy that you would talk to him, and it was like he had all his attention at you, right? And to say, not knock on him what you will, but he was so engaging and so personable. And I will never forget, man. Let's just throw this out there, right? So we're at a school board meeting. I've just been elected or something. Maybe it was early on. And this is the great icon of, Bay Area, right? Ron Dellums, mayor, former congressman, everything else like that. I'm some nobody. And I'm sitting there, and he says, and I forget, I can't even remember what the topic was about, but we were all standing next to each other. And I asked him, Mayor, how you doing, or something to that effect. And he said, I'm proud to be standing next to you. I'm proud to be standing next to you. And here's some great icon of the Bay Area and the United States, really, and I'm nobody. And he gave me that, now again.
Yeah, like he made you feel like you're somebody.
It didn't matter, man. It's just the fact that he would say that to me, I'm a lifelong, it was amazing, very engaging. So it was really sad to, and our condolences to to his family as well. So
there's a lot to be said for that too. Everybody says hello. Hey, folks watching this, if you have a question on this live stream for Mr. Dobbins, you know what the drill is. Just type it in the comments. Chris, last time I saw you, I was actually streaming the meeting live, and it was fascinating. Give us an update, and then if you don't mind, I want to talk a little bit about this whole ticket thing, because I got some take on that I want to share with you, because I think it's BS. But I'm just giving you a lead. But where are we right now? The Warriors arbitration.
Okay.
To your knowledge, where are we with
it hasn't been released yet. So we were, the Warriors are in arbitration. We're in arbitration with the Warriors, and we haven't had an update on that. So unfortunately, I don't have intel on that. So for those that are tuning, Oracle Arena was redone in '97, and again, this came a year after the Raiders was redone. The Raiders stadium was redone. There was, let's see, how do I say this? A 30-year bonds were set out for 30 years, so up to 2027, and there is some debate about whether, the Warriors would still be on the hook for any of the outstanding money if they ever did leave. Now, at the time in '97, there was concern they would maybe move to San Jose because, that's the Sharks were relatively new and they just built, I guess, was it HP Center at the time?
Yeah, HP Center, HP
Pavilion.
HP
Pavilion or whatever it was. Great place. I've seen concerts there. I've seen the Sharks play there. And so I know that was part of it, but I think, and it was obviously before I was on the JPA, but there was, what was it? It was a concern about whether they were still on the hook. And so we're saying, we, meaning the JPA, are contending that the Warriors, even if they left, would still be on the hook for a percentage of the money owed left of the bonds. It's roughly about $40 million presently. And I believe the Warriors' position is that if they were to leave, then they would not be on the hook. And so that's kind of what, in a real quick nutshell, that's what we're talking about. So we're in arbitration. And arbitration, as you know, is where a judge looks at two different numbers. I say you owe me $1,000, you say I owe you $2, whatever, and the judge will make a determination. Generally, arbitration is one or the other. It's not necessarily like what they would say like a mediation or a compromise where you kind of split the difference. But I believe in this circumstance, it is an opportunity for a judge to say, well, maybe you think they owe you 40, they think you owe 0, whatever. We'll put in the middle. So I don't have a lot of information, and it's not great radio, but that's kind of what I've got.
It's pretty good. I think it's quite good. Hey, I talked to Elihu about this last night. We raised the issue. He said that he felt that the Warriors are sort of trying to pull a fast one, and they should have, should basically pay something, words to that effect. So
I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. They're going to at least double the value of their franchise, and it's kind of a bad look when they're leaving Oakland. The whatever you want to call it, the I don't know, blue-collar city or whatever, term, doubling the value of their franchise, and they're dickering over $40 million,
Yeah,
so, in our view. That's, but legally it's one thing. Politically, it's a real bad look if they're really going to try to, mess over the city of Oakland or County of Alameda. I would 100% agree with that. Well, Mayor, Harris is a brilliant guy, so I definitely concur with that.
And we turn to, I got to talk about the good part before. The Oakland A's, they're 72-48?
Yeah, we had a tough game today.
Don't tell me. I missed that.
Tough game. Lost in the 12th inning, gave 2 runs, but it's. And I actually saw Dave Cavill said hello briefly today. But it, that's the whole thing. And I know you have a lot of fans and listeners of your show, and people have positions about where they want the new stadium to be built. And again, I always maintain, as long as it's in Oakland, I don't care. Just put it where it is. I think the easiest spot, and again, I know I'm going to get brush back from our dear friend, but the easiest spot to do it on the current site, make some configuration.
Yeah.
But obviously, if it's on the waterfront, we'd all enjoy that too, or it's downtown, whatever. We'd enjoy it too. Just make it in Oakland. I don't have stock in this. I'm not, one way or another. I'm not, whatever.
Hey, just do me a favor. If you ever, or maybe you already know Vivian Kahn, but be nice to her, because she says the A's fans are trolling the heck out of her ever since I revealed that she was one of the majors down in Jack London. She's on the Jack London Business Improvement District, who are in opposition to having the ballpark at Howard Terminal. But she says, yeah.
So she's getting a lot of pushback from, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine who's doing that one. Yeah, it's like anything, right? And you're a city planner, right? So the conception, the concept of not in my backyard, people want all this stuff. You want to build a rehab center, drug rehab center. All that sounds great, but not where I am. And that, there's a lot of other competing. There's pushback on the Coliseum as well. People are saying, the folks that are living, on the other side of the BART tracks, the 60, 68, 69, whatever, in their 70s, they're sitting.
They are? They're complaining? I didn't realize that. They're complaining?
Back from the, I'm not, right by Axel Gospel and all those, the surrounding community there. Just District 6 and District 7 on the other side of 73rd. And yeah, there's a lot of there's people who are saying, hey, they're advocating for the neighbors and things that if again, Oakland everywhere, when you have joggers that look like me in West Oakland at night, that did happen, 5, 10, 15 years ago, and so the whole community is changing, and rents are going up, housing's going up, and you put a ballpark with all the new development around there, that's going to go up, and so there's people pushing back to the Coliseum as well.
Hey, but what about the whole Coliseum City concept? Because I come from that era where we had Higher Oakland first, so I understand what they're saying. And to me, it's legislatively easy to fashion a plan where the locals get the jobs first. Where did we go wrong, Chris?
Again, I was on the school board. We put a policy where 50% local hires. You get that. That's true, but that doesn't mean that just because somebody has a job from your community doesn't necessarily mean that you can still afford to live there. And I think that's if you're not getting one of those jobs, right? And even if you're getting a job, I remember I got into it one time with oh my God, her name's totally escaped me. She's a wonderful lady, has two real sharp kids. She was the head of the Alameda County Labor Council.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I'm sorry, Sharon Cornyn. Right. Great lady, advocate, long time, whatever. Salty earth person. But this was when the A's were looking at going to San Jose, and I remember she said, "Oh, it'd be great for them to, build a ballpark in San Jose. All these great union jobs are going to build that stadium in San Jose." And I looked at her, I was like, "What are you talking about? We can have the union jobs build a stadium in Oakland." But the fact that it was union jobs, that was just I was flabbergasted that somebody would advocate for just because you have, for the same thing with the again. A lot of
it's funny you said that because
right from the Coliseum. $500 million pumped in their local jobs. But if you were one of those guys,
Chris, you hit on something.
You didn't get any benefit.
You hit on something I think is adjunctly related to one problem of why Oakland doesn't have more hotels. Are the unions blocking us from getting them, do you think?
I mean, I can't speak to that. I don't know. I'll say this, though. I know from a Joint Power Authority's perspective, because San Jose is non-union, there's been assertions that there's been some concerts, that have not gone to Oakland but have gone to San Jose because it's cheaper, frankly, to put on a show there than it is in Oakland, and people have said that. Now, that's the balance, right? We, as Oakland, we feel, union is important, obviously,
absolutely.
Teacher union, and, parents from unions, all that kind of stuff. So there's that balance, right?
No, I'm very pro-union. I just think that, because I had, I'm not going to say who this is because I don't want to get that person in trouble, but it was very higher up with the city of Oakland who complained about the unions in a way that if you had heard him on my video, you would have thought this guy was Republican and saying, why is this guy working in Oakland, right? But I thought of it as I said, well...
I've heard the same thing, and that's not a solo thought process. And people can, two things can be equally true. You could be a good progressive liberal and still say, hey, sometimes there's unions that are blocking things, and you could be the other way, I'm sure,
But can you be a good progressive liberal and be behind the removal of black people from Oakland? I'm just... I mean, that's what it feels like. It's like we're getting pushed out, right? Like, dude,
I'll say this, right? I'll say this, that people are self-interested, right?
Yeah.
Whatever we say on, we want to put on our Facebook page and we want to say the cause we support, people support. At the end of the day, people look at their pocketbooks, and if they're lying, if they say that's not true, well, you're a better person than me. We all look at our own personal economic situation. I think, right, and that's the ultimate, and that's why. Well, we talked offline about our president.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many people that hate him as everybody thinks he is. I mean, maybe this area, but I think because the stock market's all-time high, people are, more advanced. There's people out there that are like, they don't care. The guy acts like a, jackass, if I use that expression, but if your economy's doing okay.
A racist jackass. A racist.
So that too, sure. Race jackass, but
you can be a jackass and not be racist. That is possible.
True. But at the end of the day, right? Again, what I put on my Facebook page is not necessarily what I may think internally or what my ultimate goals of driving. I would just say that.
A wise man you are to say that. Hey, by the way,
not that either, but I'm just. At the end of the day, we could all, hey, I'm a great person. I support this. I do that. I believe in this. But at the end of the day, hey, we're all concerned about our economy. So.
I could not say it better. Hey, so shifting to...
That's what America's society, and we're all...
Shifting to the Raiders, I got to ask you this question. What do you think about my breaking the story? Not that I broke it, but what do you think about the news that the Raiders are threatening to go to, of all places, San Jose to play football, as opposed to just
San Jose. Well, I mean, whatever. You could play Cal, you could play Stanford, you could play at Levi Stadium if you want to stay in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're gonna sign a deal with them to stay for another 3 years. So, I don't know in terms of. I don't know. I mean, San Jose State plays there, but it's a lot smaller than the Coliseum.
Oh, and
why would the Raiders want to go there?
I forgot to mention that. I forgot to mention the only reason they would do that is if we sued them, which I think is hilarious because look, they've sued us and played at the Coliseum. We've sued them and played at the Coliseum. But this group, led by Oakland Raiders president Mark Bedane, who's a good man, I like Mark a lot, to be honest, has this idea that, oh, you know what? We're just going to, leave. I mean, we made less. You know what I mean?
I know they looked at going to San Diego if something would happen, but maybe. I don't know. Whatever. There's in negotiation, as in what we just talked about.
Do you think it's all bluster? Do you think it's all bluster at the end of the day? Lawsuit or no, they'll just sign?
I think they want to stay in Oakland. I think that, everything, all their bases here, I think they, feel obligated to stay here as long as they can. I don't see that as an option. I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm not running the Raiders. I don't know.
Hey.
I personally, being a member of the JPA, want them to stay in Oakland as long as they can. So I'm supporting whatever it does to keep them here the longest.
Hey, what's the flavor for what's happening with respect to the Raiders and the JPA? Who is it that, without naming names, is it a split in terms of the Raiders? Can you give us a feel for what the JPA is thinking without violating confidence?
I think we all want them to. We all want them to stay long term. Obviously, I don't necessarily think there's a split. I think obviously the negotiations are in closed session. We can't discuss that, but
right.
I think there's there's 8 of us, and we all want them to. That's my viewpoint. Maybe I'm wrong, but my take on listening to everybody was that everyone wants them to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Despite maybe what some people have said publicly, because we're all upset they're leaving, and we're all, you mentioned the Raiders, and
yeah.
So I'm personally mad at a lot of the Raiders. I'll say this: I'm personally mad at a lot of the Raiders hierarchy for leaving.
You know what I should have done is I should have had a picture of Mark Bedane when he had hair. And Bedane, if you see this, you know what I'm talking about. That was funny.
LeBron James losing hair.
Right. There's a photograph.
Hey man, I know I'm not perfect. I know I need to lose a few pounds. So I'm not saying nothing.
Hey, I'm proud to be bald.
But anyway, I don't know.
Hey, I got to ask you too. I was also at the same JPA meeting, rather disappointed to hear that the grand jury of Alameda County decided to look at, as well as the Oakland Public Ethics Commission, the matter of tickets. And I wrote a piece on this, a blog post, and the question I asked, and I've asked anybody, I says, hey, look, which person who's either on the Public Ethics Commission for the City of Oakland or the Alameda County grand jury are just pissed off that they didn't get playoff tickets for the Warriors? Because this always happens after something like that, What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I can't really comment on it because we're in litigation on that. I'll say this, I've had season tickets and I've paid for season tickets, right? So I get a lot of free tickets, and we dish them out to a lot of different people, a lot of different organizations.
I haven't gotten any.
Yeah, well, get on the list. Okay. But our job as commissioners, I'll say this. All right, so number one, and I'm public that I currently buy tickets to all 3 teams. A's, Raiders, and Warriors. I signed as much to my chagrin, I'm gonna get some pushback. I also signed up to buy Warriors tickets over in San Francisco, so I'm going to continue to be a season ticket holder. And I'm also public saying that I'm not going to continue my Raider tickets when they go to Vegas. So I'm giving those up. I'm going to keep them as long as they're here, which is probably 3 more years. Then I'm going to put my football money into Cal, because I know Cal's they're not going to be any good. They're not going to be good, right? But
yeah,
I'm going to commit to that. So the question was, what do I think about it? We're in the process of that. I think.
Chris, could you repeat that again? Because your voice went.
3 game this week.
Hey, Chris.
On Monday, you hear a third. I'm sorry, what?
Can you repeat that again? Because your voice went out for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm on a landline, so I shouldn't be. Okay, whatever. Okay, so I'll say this, right? So Monday night, you heard, and I know I'm giving you a long answer, but I'm going to give you a long answer. So Matt Chapman, our third baseman, star, going to probably win the Gold Glove this year, phenomenal asset to the A's. They were interviewing him after the game on Monday, and he said, hey, it's great. We're a great team, blah, blah, blah. But, hey, Oakland, why don't you guys come out and support the team? I mean, we're the hottest team in baseball, in a great pennant race, and only 10,000 people showed up on Monday. Now, it was lousy weather. It was first day of school in Oakland. But, you had great crowds, in Anaheim, and they're not going anywhere, and you had great crowds against the Dodgers, great crowds against the Giants. Seattle, who were neck and neck with, didn't generate that great draw. And so I feel as the role of the commissioner is to be able to go to the games, kind of see what's going on. What I do, and I'll just put it out there, and people are going to, push back on me, whatever. But every game I go to, I walk the arena or I walk the stadium, and I've developed relationships with a lot of different people in terms like the security guards, the ticket takers, the vendors, And again, am I having a beer sometimes? Of course, but. I view our role is to kind of monitor things that's going on and see what's happening and talk to people and that kind of stuff. And so, I also have season tickets, which I buy, but I do get, I'm on the commission, so I feel it's our responsibility to go to the events, see what's going on. And when we have an opportunity to donate them, we do a lot of that too. So,
hey, I got a question here. A viewer wants to know: would you put your money in a new NFL team if Oakland got an expansion club?
Again,
I agree.
So when they moved back in '95, right? I was right out of college. I didn't have any money, but I bought two $500 PSLs, which it's not a lot of money, but I felt it was my responsibility as somebody who wanted the team to come. Like, there's certain politicians in Oakland have taken a whole bunch of heat for bringing that deal back. But you know what, though? I wanted them to come back.
Yeah,
and I put my money where my mouth is. That wasn't, my $500 wasn't, doing anything really, but I felt it was a conscious effort. So the question is, would I put my money down on a new team coming in? I definitely would.
And Mike Lowrey is here. Hey, Mike says he went to the game today, A's versus the Mariners. Did you go to the game too? You went to the game, right?
Yeah, I went. I didn't make it to about the 8th inning, but I stayed till the end. So
you all were in the you were all in the house, and then another on the ticket matter. I know you can't say much, but I'll say something. I think this is the most disingenuous investigation that public money could ever be behind when there are so many other more prescient matters to look into. Just because someone, and I really think the question should be asked, hey, who among the members of the Oakland Public Ethics Commission and the Alameda County Grand Jury tried to get or did get tickets to a Warriors playoff game or maybe or any sports game, but in particular Warriors playoffs and finals, because the few number of times this is an issue is a gauge of the number of times that one of our teams has went to a championship. It hasn't been, which means it hasn't been often, okay? So all of a sudden we get this hue and cry from someone who didn't have a box seat. I mean, I'm just saying this, Chris. I know you can't say it, but I'm saying it. There should be pushback from the JPA and the county and the city to say, hey, wait a minute. Which one of you people out there that are on these boards were trying to get tickets and got pissed off and caused this to happen? Now, having said that, I'll say this. Whitney Barrazo of the Ethics Commission, she's the executive director. She's absolutely right. We don't have a proper way of distributing tickets. We haven't for some time. But you know what I'm saying?
And we're going to get that process. I would agree with her. We are going to get that process going. So that's our commitment to the community on that one. So it is the Coliseum. It's not like you get tickets to the Symphony or the something in San Jose or San Francisco, whatever. We're there to manage that facility. So
the question that they ought to be asking is, how come the doggone thing is empty so much? At that JPA meeting, that building was empty the entire Friday, I think maybe until that night, right? I'm sorry, Chris, but to me it's like a high school. To me, we as a collective, not just the JPA, we as a collective run it like it's a high school gym where it's not. It's like, oh, it's prom night. Maybe you want to use it, as opposed to this multi-billion-dollar facility that it is. It's an insult. I mean, what do we do to change that? You know?
Yeah, that's.
And I'm saying it's beyond. It's beyond the JPA. It's us.
AEG that runs it. Yeah. They are booking agents.
They're doing a lousy job. They're doing a lousy job. I say.
Well, I can't.
Boot them out. Well. I'm sorry. I'm serious. You know, we need.
It's a public facility, right? So, sure, they should be booking it up. I mean, I know we've looked at a lot of decisions come down to cost effectiveness. So let me say this, right? So we looked at having there's talk about expanding the WNBA and the Women's NBA Association, and we had looked into that maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And the analysis that we got back was that if we had a WNBA team, and I mean, oh, come on, is there another city in the United States which would be more progressive to having a women's basketball team?
Oh, we would be the best.
It's probably hard. And Frank, I read something on ESPN like 2 weeks ago about where new sports teams should go, and the Bay Area was the #1 spot. So it's assuming that we would get it here on this side of the Bay, and then the Warriors get on this side of the Bay. But whatever. So but the whole thing was a dollars and cents issue, and that sure, who's going to argue about having another team here? Nobody's going to argue that, right? Especially something which there's no other women's sports leagues that professional teams in the Bay Area, right? So, but our analysis is that we would lose like $50,000 a game, right? And this was 4 or 5 years ago, so you figure it's got to be more than that now.
Based on what?
Losing so if they had 20 games, we'd lose 20 times 50. I mean, that was our analysis. Now, was it flawed? I don't know. I mean, whatever. But
did you see
so the idea was that
did you see the breakdown?
We don't want to invest in something that's going to be a loser. So in terms of money, so. That's, a lot of decisions are made on whether they're going to make money or not. I know as a board, as a former school board member, we started the Oakland Athletic League Hall of Fame. We support Oakland sports, but the move was that, well, if we try to have, because we also get a lot of times, well, why can't, the Oakland, McClymonds play Skyline at the Coliseum, or why can't, Skyline play Tech basketball in the arena? Yeah. And it's a money issue, Again, our employees get, they're not getting a lot of money, but they're getting something, and it comes down to dollars and cents. Where if we have an event which is total loser, loser in terms of financially, those are costs we can't make up. So I mean, I agree with you. I'd love to have it open for all kinds of stuff. I think it comes down to like money, like anything does.
Is that study publicly available, or could you leak it to me?
I don't know if it was ever actually published. I know it was just a discussion topic, and the people that did the study are no longer there. So I don't know how I don't.
Yeah, you got it. Because my question would be, is that a security cost? And also, I mean, look, I'll just say straight out, my big issue with women's basketball, as a person who loves women's basketball professionally, and that's something I told Ann Warner Cribbs when I first met her. She was over the ABA, which really became the WNBA. I told her, I said, hey, look, how come you don't market the sex of the women? I, as a guy, like to watch women play. But hey, look at this. Riddle me this. Why is it okay for a woman to say that she likes a baseball player's, bum, right? But I can't. Okay, no. But I'm saying, why can't I say? But no. Let me finish. Let me finish my point.
This, right? Remember when they had the football league, the lingerie football league?
Yeah.
Those women were like heavy hitters. I mean, that was like some serious football going on.
But my point, right. And my point is, my point. That's the extreme. My point is with the WNBA. How come I can't know about them like I see them dressed up in glamorous and out as people, and I know their bios and everything, that sort of thing? That sells. And my point is that, like it or not, we're human beings, and I'm really sick and tired of this hypocrisy that exists with sports when it has to do with female sports. Like, as a guy, I can't like women's sports because women play it. That's freaking ridiculous.
Okay, look at Serena Williams, right? Very attractive woman.
Yeah.
She does these things in gowns. Michelle Weed, golfer, does, attractive woman, does things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean,
absolutely. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. And having said that, if it's just, is it $50,000 we lose per game?
That's what I was told.
Ooh, that's a lot of money.
We lose $50,000 per game.
Yeah, let's talk about that offline. I have some ideas.
Games or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I have.
And again, this was from like 4 years ago, so maybe now they do change numbers or whatever. But yeah.
Hey, so what do you think about Gruden being back?
I mean, I was at Ricky's. Not for the big event, but I go to Ricky's. I try to support Rick Ricardo, the sports bar, and I go there live. We have our Save Oakland sports meetings there too. But he happened to be there one night with his family. There was maybe 10 people in the audience or in the house there, and he gave me a good 2 minutes of his time. So I think it's exciting. I think I was at the game on Friday, of course, and it was a lackluster game, but it's first preseason game. We're not, He's definitely going to make his mark, right? And, he's getting some pushback from what he said about Khalil Mack. Or not that what he said, but what he kind of didn't say, right? When he said, well, everyone's going to sign Khalil Mack, give him a big contract. And, he said, well, we were 6-10, last year with him. So he's important, but, what do you make from that, right? So, it's definitely his team. It's definitely going to be his mark. And if you're, if you're in Gruden's good graces, great. You love him, and if you don't, I was a big Jack Del Rio guy. I thought Jack was a great coach. It just didn't work out. So
all I know is that
we'll see.
All I know is that John used the plays I gave him. So thanks, John. But hey, dude,
what do you like him then? Well, good,
dude. You know what? At the Orlando NFL annual meeting,
yes,
and you can ask Will Kiss this, and Will, if Will does not tell you the truth, he's lying. Hey, straight up. I told Gruden first at the combine, I said, hey, I got a play idea for you because I need ideas, okay? So I see him. That was in Indianapolis. I saw him at Orlando. I said, I got an idea, which I had an idea for a weed option that had Marshawn Lynch in on the right next to Carr and a shotgun, but he would run the crossbuck, okay? And the flanker, the fullback would go in motion, or you could use the flanker, right? And that would become the wing pass on the other side, on the right side of Carr. So that was the primary. But depending on where the end go, you could actually hand it off to Lynch on a crossbuck. Now, I specifically told John, I said, you could split this up into 2 plays. So you could have the quarterback just simply, you have to roll a step toward the flat, the motion guy in the flat, right? That's one play. And then let Lynch go off, on a crossbuck. But the other play is a crossbuck, but you continue the action the opposite direction with the quarterback. Well, guess what? If you take a look at the film, all right, the first play was the first, the first play was the first part of my play with the flat. The second play was the crossbuck that Lynch scored a touchdown on, which was called back for holding. So John took the concept and he broke it up.
We're paying Gruden $100 million. We could be paid assets, Zenny.
Right. Thank you. Well. Hey, you know what? This is the second time in look, Mark Davis asked me to come up with a stadium plan, so I deliver, right?
Right. I remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, at what point are the Raiders going to admit that they need to just simply say, hey, you know what? Zenny's been a contributor. I mean, just acknowledge the fact that I've done it, and that's all. I'll be happy. Just admit it. Just admit it.
Yeah.
At any rate, enough about me. Let's talk about you. Hey, so what do you see as the future of the Coliseum? Where are we going with the Coliseum?
Yeah, it's really hard to kind of project out. I mean, there's 120 acres for development. Again, my personal preference is to see the A's stay there, but I appreciate if they were to move down, the waterfront, not really beholden one way or the other. They're going to do something, right? There's not, again, as we've said ad nauseum, there's not a better transportation area in California, really. I mean, with BART, with Amtrak, connector, major freeway, I told the story, I think, last time I was on the show. I went to the A's-Dodgers game in early April, spent, 45 minutes going from the freeway, the 110 freeway, up to into Chavez Ravine. I mean, it's ludicrous to get up in that place. And, they draw great crowds. Big game tonight against the Giants. So, today, leaving the A's game, boom, zip right out. Nothing, no worries on it. So, I'd like them to see, stay in some kind of relevant, but I could also somebody like a place and do that as well.
Can you repeat that again, because your voice went up and down? I don't know why that's happening, but repeat that.
Sorry.
Just the last minute of what you said.
Yeah. So I mean, I obviously want to stay. We have the best. It's the best. Transportation hub. I would say in the state of California, right there with all the airport, online. Excuse me. Ingress of the major freeway. The train you've got right there, the connector to the airport.
Amtrak, too.
Obviously BART, right?
Yeah.
But I could also see them, sell the land to, somebody like Tesla and, turn over there.
No.
I wouldn't want to see that. I want to see, but I could see the powers that be do that,
Well, riddle me this. Why can't we have the Coliseum designated a National Historic Landmark?
Yeah, but again, you're the city planner. You know the parameters of that. It's been there 50 years,
yeah.
Right? And so I don't know. Is that enough to? Yeah, but then what? But if it's not being utilized for anything, I mean, what?
But look, the alley at 3325 Grand Avenue is a National Historic Landmark. I kid you not.
Still playing piano there? He's still playing piano.
He passed away last year. Ron Dellums.
Did he? Oh, he did. I didn't know that.
Very sad, yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And he, too, is a designated national landmark, believe it or not. Well, so if we can designate a bar, you mean to tell me we cannot designate a major place of American culture like the Coliseum with all the history in there? I mean, you talk about the Holy Roller, not the Holy Roller, but
What does that mean, though, tangibly? So you just got a big parking lot and just nothing there? I mean,
no, it means that it means that when you designate it as it's a good question, actually. If you designate it as a National Historic Landmark, it can't be torn down. That's what it means.
Okay, all right, well.
Yeah,
Okay.
It means it's worth saving.
So what are we gonna do with it then? Then it's then just sits there and there's no teams.
No, can redevelop it around. There's nothing that says you can't redevelop around it, right? You can't upgrade it, of course. But my point is that you have to acknowledge its presence and its contributions to American history.
Yeah, I would.
They are vital.
Yeah, sure.
There are many. I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, just count up all the times that Reggie Jackson and Billy Martin almost got into fights in the dugout. You probably find a little dent in there someplace, right? That's history, right? Or maybe when Charlie Finley, got drunk and did something. Or I mean, that place is or the Day of the Green concerts, and maybe there's some place that
I like, and you actually probably know this better than I do. So they had for the longest time they had these big, beautiful paintings of just major Oakland figures, right?
Yeah,
they're on the door on the outside, and they've moved them inside. So we've been trying to figure out. There's one was of course Bill Rigney, right? He was manager of the Angels, Giants, and A's long, the early '80s. He was big, and he obviously passed on now. And you had, Frank Ogawa, right? You got a nice a painting of Frank Ogawa. And you have George Bukazin, the gentleman that, was on the Coliseum board for a long time. And owns Peerless Coffee, right?
Yep.
And then there's a peanut vendor.
Charlie Santana. Charlie Santana Sr.
I used to see him all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
you know Junior, right?
Channel 5, the reporter. Who was that gentleman?
That was Steve. That was Sylvester. Man. I know you're. He passed away.
African-American gentleman. It's got a nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Sylvester. Okay. Yeah, he was a great guy. He was the Vern Glenn.
Right.
Of his generation. Yeah, absolutely. I know who you're talking about. But they are. I thought that they were outside on the 200 level. Outside.
They were, and they've just moved. And Bill, there's whatever you said. Bill Graham, the big Day on the Green concert.
Yeah.
Bill Graham is there, right? And so they just moved them underneath. Actually, they're in Mount Davis, but if you walk along behind the bleachers, they've moved them all inside. So they want to get them inside.
Oh, they've hit because of weather damage and everything. So they need a home, is what you're saying.
I'm assuming. Actually, I got to ask the next question. I tried to ask somebody about it. Nobody knew, but I want to find out why.
See, all that ties into I believe the fact that the Coliseum should be a designated National Historic Landmark.
Okay, I second that motion. So
not only that, you want another addition to the reasons why? It would be the only sports facility in history to be the center of a NFL team relocation not once but twice.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
that's history. I don't.
But it's history, right? It's history. I think that's a project for us to work on. By the way, we got to talk about possibly doing an Oakland. Do you think it's still relevant to do an Oakland Sports Forum now as opposed to when we did it before?
much, there's so much negativity from even, and I mean, not so much the Warriors, but the Warriors kind of was the big gut to, the first big gut punch.
Mm-hmm.
I think long term, I mean, the move to try to go to Laney College would have generated a lot of discussion, but
mm-hmm.
it was some bad, just whatever. I'll leave it at that. It just didn't happen. So I think it will be, sure. Should we have a sports summit? Sure. Just right now, we feel really defeated because we lost 2 of the 3 teams. So it's going to take a little bit to get back. There's we've had, I'll say this, we've had the question, well, why can't, Oakland get a soccer team? Soccer's
mm-hmm.
important. Well, the A's own the Earthquake, so the A's are not going to compete against themselves and, allow another team to come in. Plus, it looks like the MLS is going to put a team in Sacramento.
Hey, I know. Quick question, because I know you got to go soon. How much time do I have you for? Do I have?
I got the wife's back 3 minutes. I got 3 minutes.
Okay, real quick. I think a forum would be a great thing to do because we could, as we did before, we could find out how the candidates think in terms of policy. I mean, we got good stuff out of them. I thought when we did in 2014.
It was ironic that the night that we had that was when the Giants clinched their last World Series, and it was God. I mean, hey, your sports definitely has a place, a role here, and I think I think it may have been. That was the interesting thing was we had all the candidates, we allowed everybody to speak, and really, if we could have. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be that guy and whittle it down to like the 4 or 5 top candidates.
No,
that may have
been
a more fruitful discussion.
No, I think we did
some
the right.
Some people kind of hijacked it, but it was. I mean, hey, it was probably one of the first times that it's ever been done, right? I mean, there hasn't been. In my memory, I don't remember there being a sports forum previously.
No, we haven't had one since then. I should have kept it going, but hey,
Well, election's coming up. We'll see, right? We still have time to put something together.
Tell your wife I'm single. Ready to mingle. She has any ideas? So, because I got complaints in consecutive nights from Elihu's wife and from your wife. I'm thinking, man, I'm not scoring points here. I'm telling you, that's not right. Jeez.
That was beautiful. Anyway, well, again, I appreciate you asking me, and that sounds, sure.
All right, man. Hey, good to have you. I'm going to stick around and talk to the brethren here. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Dave, we'll check out an offline. Again, I always appreciate you always inviting me on, and I don't really have anything to say, but I appreciate you think I do. So again, always have a great night.
This man who sits on the Coliseum JPA board has a lot to say. You said a lot.
Thanks, Dave. Have a great night. Thanks to everybody else too. Thank you.
Okay, see you.
Have a good night.
You too. All right, see you. So, folks, that was longtime friend Chris Dobbins, who basically told us, among other things, that I thought the big takeaway is he is in favor of an expanded Coliseum. In other words, Raiders leave, get an expansion team. Where do I sign? You heard him say that. Where do I sign? WNBA, let's explore bringing them back. Why not? National Historic Register placement, I'm all for it. So he's all for the preservation and growth and development of the Coliseum. So if you're thinking maybe, there's no news that came out of this, he's the JPA board member. He has a say. I think that's a lot of news right there. Paula Martin says, Coliseum area is a dump of a site. It is not surprising to me as the teams want to leave it, go ways. But Paula, you say the Coliseum's a dump of a site. I think you got that wrong. You may not like the building, but the site is primo location. So why not build there? All right, your comment assumes that the stadium can't be rebuilt or torn down or redeveloped or anything, which is far afield from the truth, of course. So why say that? I mean, the proximity to the airport is second to none. It's wonderful. Imagine having a hotel there. So you have hotel, arena convention space, stadium right there, parking, built-in kitchen. Are you kidding me? That's outstanding. Oh, and dare I mention, BART right there, Amtrak right there, as in addition to the airport? Come on. You can't do better than that anywhere. I mean, nowhere, okay? So, as John Mark says, Taylor says, I like business over a team, but G. Taylor, team is a business. John Marks says, you're wrong, Paula Martin. Coliseum is a jewel, great location, a spirited sports teams, but your comments are left field. Black Lion says, boy, his comments, Paula says, 50 years and nothing happens around the site. What are you talking about, 50 years? The Raiders came back. Paula, where are you? Are you actually even Paula Martin? He says, sounds good, but it won't happen. It's already happened. Paula, you're wrong. We got the Raiders back to, what, 1995. So that's within the 50-year window you posted, okay? There are plans to redevelop the site called Coliseum City. It was already approved by the city council. We already did the general plan down there, so you're all the way wrong. All 360 degrees wrong. All right, now, Corey Brown says, I wish we got an immediate comment from the NFL for an expansion team and then start immediately building brand new. Here's the problem, Corey. We don't really know when the Raiders are leaving. All right? There's this bluster about 2020 and all this jazz, but look, no one knows when that doggone thing is going to be finished. I mean, that stadium, that jewel, I'm going to start calling the Las Vegas Stadium the problematic jewel, because that's what it is. It's problematic, but it's a jewel. Keep this in mind. Anytime you see an artist's rendition of the interior of that stadium with that skylight and the light streaming in, I want you to think about one word, greenhouse, okay? Think about it. Greenhouse. That's not the way it's supposed to be in reality. Think about another term, heat wave. Greenhouse, heat wave. I'm going to play this just like Sesame Street in the future. And the word for the day is greenhouse. And the word for the day is heat wave. And the word for the day is pass out. And the word for the day is hotbox. You get the idea? All right? So, jeez, man, oh man. Barely says they couldn't look at leasing of the concert promotion company in Los Angeles. What do you mean? John Marks repeated what I said. Thank you very much. Vegas Stadium is a problematic jewel. Yes. John O'Connell says, do you think the Raiders are really waiting to see if they get sued before signing a lease extension? No. Well, actually, yeah. And I think so because there may be, look, why do you fear going to court unless, of course, you have something to hide, right? Why do you fear going to court unless you feel that you will lose in court? So if you feel you're going to lose in court, you're going to do, and you believe that the damages may very well be exorbitant, you're going to do everything you can to discourage the parties from suing. You would say, hey, look, if you sue us, we're not signing a lease. If you take us to court, there may be things that come out in court that some of your elected officials don't want to come out. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? I'm giving you a flavor for the kind of hardball the Raiders are playing right now. Otherwise, look, that lease agreement would have been signed. It's on, proverbially, Bodain's desk. He could have signed it some time ago with Mark Davis approval, but that hasn't happened. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. And maybe they're buying time to go someplace else, but they still have to pay for it. It's not free. Okay? So, Jay Boogie says, I saw the live cam on the Raiders website. The stadium is being built. Yeah. Okay, the stadium is being built, right? So what's your point? They're not going to finish it by 2020. Oh my gosh. Okay. Black Lion says, oh yeah, like the last part of the Raiders moved to Las Vegas. And they've already started construction. This is stupid. Whoever you are, OTC, they've already started construction in Vegas, so it's a done deal. That's stupid. Okay? it's not a matter of anything being a done deal. It's a matter of, and I hate that term done deal. You know what? When I think of done deal, I think of, you know what I think of? Dumb comment. Done deal means is a comment that's a term brought up by people who don't want to think about anything. Done deal is a term used when you don't want to actually go through the motions of actually figuring out why a deal is bad and won't work, and at what point it possibly could collapse in some kind of way. Done deal is a dunderhead term. Don't use done deal unless you want to reveal yourself to be a stupid idiot. Okay? I'm just saying to you, point blank. That's what that comes from. That comes from the generation that doesn't want to learn anything. You want, like, the absolute end game. There is no end game. Deals like this go wrong. By the way, I had an investment banker tell me just 2 days ago now that guess what? The bond issue is, quote, okay because they would have to use property taxes, property tax revenue from Clark County, to pay for the bond debt as opposed to the stadium tax revenue, which means what? It's not freaking big enough, okay? So they dig in the tax revenue. Maybe they turn to the Raiders and say, hey, you got any extra money? Do you realize the Raiders themselves put out information that they're $90 million short in terms of the PSL money they said they were going to come up with? Are you actually following this thing? Are you one of these done deal people that doesn't look at anything? Look at the dang deal. I don't care if it hurts you. If there's something numerically you don't know how to do, ask. Do the math. Don't just find somebody to quote. Do the math yourself. And then talk about the deal. Because when you say that, it means you know nothing. Nothing. I'm tired of these sound bites. Well, I'm kind of adding the sound bites, aren't I? And these words and comments that get people to say absolutely nothing. No, I'm saying something. You say done deal, I say bad deal. I'm happy to tell you why. Okay? Just because something is being built doesn't mean it's a good deal. You want a great example of what I'm talking about, aside from the stadium itself? The Fontainebleau. That was a, done deal, and then look what happened. It took a long time for that thing to actually be finished because they ran out of money. You want me to repeat that? They ran out of money, dude. That happens in Las Vegas. And when things run out of money, what happens? They just sort of sit there. So you're like, oh, this is being built. At what pace? There's a reason they've slowed down. There's a reason the NFL has not granted Las Vegas a Super Bowl. Okay? Because no one knows when the stadium is actually going to be finished. That's why. The only reason you're quoting 2020 is because you read it. You didn't bother to actually investigate what's happening. Let me give you something really easy to look at. First, the Raiders and the Las Vegas Stadium Authority said, we're going to finish this by June of 2020. Remember that? So then June of 2020, or June 30th, turned into, very quietly, with no fanfare, no cow band, nothing, July 31st. Oh, that was for the, okay. And then they put this little fine point print in the document that they released. Nice little PDF that said, oh, by the way, there's a 3-month move-in period after the stadium is finished, right? Then they produced this chart, did Mortensen McCarthy, at a recent meeting about now 2 months old, and said, hey, we expect not completion, but drum roll please, substantial completion. What the heck does that mean? By July 31st. Oh, and by the way, there's still that 3-month move-in date. So, hey, look, we don't know. Substantial completion. What does that mean, substantial? Like substantial the way it takes you into August 31st, or you don't know? And then what about that 3-month moving period? So you tack on the 3-month moving period, and it takes you into October and November. That is not a situation you go into saying, I can play a whole 2020 NFL season in Las Vegas, because you can't. Wake up, will you, pal? The frick up. Stop saying it's a done deal, because bad deals are never done deals. Keep that in mind. Bad deals are never done deals. It's a bad deal. Whether the heck you like it or not. That ain't changing. You know, your attitude about it ain't going to change it. Analyze it. Don't talk it, analyze it. Do the math. How many times have I said about this thing? Do the math. Now, Barry Lee says, wrong on the Fortress Group. Had a proposal for the raise. Yeah, that's old news. John Mark says, OTC, go get a toy shuttle and dig a hole in Vegas. OTC says, I will dig my hole as deep as I want. OTC, hey, look. First of all, this. Moderators. You got a guy named OTC, you don't know what his name is? You gonna let him stick around? Or do I ban him? Okay? Because here's the thing. I don't mind speech as long. I know I said something different the other day, but I know that person. I don't know who OTC is. Okay? I don't know who OTC is. No, hold on a second. Wait, time out. Let OTC stick around. Because you know why? I just figured out who OTC is. OTC, talk as much as you want. Great. And welcome. And by the way, you owe me a steak. Okay? So, no. Let him troll. Let OTC troll. Let OTC troll. It's cool. It's cool. OTC is making me some money. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I know OTC. I sure do. I know. Let me put it this way. I know who OTC is. OTC is not a buddy. I know who OTC is. Let me put it that way. Okay? All right. And no, it's not the other guy. Okay. So anyway, no, it's not him again, Black Lion. I don't want to go into it. Okay. So anyway. OTC owes me a steak. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, you owe me a steak, OTC. So anyway, but that's okay. You don't have to pay. Don't worry about it. All right, now, moving along, because this is fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff. Now, where were we? Let's check, in fact. Let's see what's doing. First of all, I've said this before, and I'm tired of saying it. I love Las Vegas, but the stadium deal sucks, man. For you guys. I mean, you guys. Oh, what's going on with Steve Wynn? Las Vegas judge dismisses... Wow. Las Vegas judge dismisses Steve Wynn's defamation suit against the Associated Press. Okay. Local Nevada. Nevada Assembly candidate Dennis Hoff sues after county revokes brothel license. And then alleged Las Vegas con man skips sentencing, loses plea deal. Okay. Then we've got, oh, this is horrible. A woman died of gunshot wounds at a South Las Vegas strip called the Tahiti Village. Okay. And with the Raiders, Gruden sees White Tiger back at crowded Raiders wide receiver position. All right. What else we got here? In other words, we've got nothing. Maryland, the new musical. High on Fire, heads up lineup at Psycho Vegas returns. Okay. Aerosmith's residency has been announced. Nothing about the Raiders. Nothing of substance, which is how it usually is with these guys. Traffic. Nothing. 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 At all. Raiders Donald Penn is back. Nothing. Nothing. New homes, shootings. Okay. Let's see what the Las Vegas Sun is reporting. The same Dennis Hoff stuff. No clear-cut favorite to win the realigned 3A Sunset League. Those are the headlines for these guys, all right? The usual stuff. Let me check on the Raiders. Pedestrian bridge for stadium prompts new look at I-50. Okay, nothing. In other words, no news. No news. Raiders still homeless for 2019 season. That's old news. So we got old news there. let's see here, the Nevada Independent. See what John Walston's website's reporting, if anything. Michigan said it erroneously added Laxalt's name to amicus brief. Okay. Republican Governors Association launches ad insinuating Sisolak would hike taxes. Okay. Health insurance exchange. Let's see here. If I type Raiders here. Basically, you know, for a project of that importance, you would think there would be more info about it. There's nothing. Nothing. 145 results. Republican governors about Sisolak. It's a piece about Tommy White. I like Tommy White. Inside Local 872. White runs Las Vegas Laborers Union his way. In fact, always wears the silver and black. You know, great guy. Always asks me how my mom is doing. I like Tommy. Seriously. Oh, sorry about that, folks. As I was saying, great guy. Always asks me about how my mom's doing. I like Tommy. Now, opinion. This is by John L. Smith, who once wrote for Las Vegas Review-Journal. This guy got fired by Sheldon Adelson. Listen to this. In a casual moment, scrappy Las Vegas Laborers Union Secretary-Treasurer and Business Manager Tommy White will tell you he has an open-door policy down at Local 872. That offer doesn't appear to extend to the Department of Labor Office of Labor Management Standards. They've subpoenaed White for paperwork as part of a federal complaint alleging recent election improprieties at the local. And according to court documents, are having a heck of a time getting cooperation from anyone at the union office at 2345 Red Rock Street. Okay, and so those who follow White's career as the boss of Local 872 and its estimated 2,500 members aren't surprised in the least. He took control of the union in 2003. This guy wrote his first article about White in 2004. And he said, and this guy writes, John writes that the more things change, the more Tommy White reminds his critics he doesn't plan to go anywhere without a fight. He's seen member complaints and Labor Department disputes before. And so these days, the U.S. Attorney's Office and the Department of Labor are trying to determine the validity of 4 Local 872 member complaints alleging multiple improprieties as a result of a May 31st election of officers this year. The protesting members allege a failure to provide proper notice of officer nominations and the refusal of Local 872 officials to follow their own constitution and bylaws. Other election shenanigans that prevented a fair process from going forward are also alleged. To date, Local 872 or present Local 872 union officials for interview by the Office of Labor, okay? Thank you, Patrick Blackman, by the way. Thank you for the investment. Hey, got an investment for Patrick and Blackman. Thank you. And this is some deep stuff, man. It says that in response, counsel for White and Local 872 essentially told Labor Department investigators to stuff it. They lack jurisdiction. Oh my gosh. This is a very lengthy read. Leave it to John Ralston's website, the Nevada Independent, the nevadaindependent.com, to have, you know, some not favorable information on the Raiders project. And that would be Tommy White. So, wow. And so, will White beat it? You know, it's like, I think Tommy White is so used to being in the soup like this. I think he almost lives for it, you know. I really do. And he says, with so many blazes burning at 872, he might consider partying with the firefighters union. multiple complaints from disgruntled members, a pension plan that will need a decade to balance itself, and there's no shortage of rumors of trouble ahead. Now, see, if that's the case, holy, the Raiders have to worry about whether or not any of that trouble is going to spill over on them. Wow, all right? I got to look into this one. You see? Mr. Done Deal. Jeez, that's so hilarious. Boy, oh, done deal. Bad deal. You say done deal, I say bad deal. Bad deal. Tommy White says, to close this, I try to tell it like it is, and some people don't like that. Sounds like somebody else that could apply to. At any rate, a lot of people might not like what I have to say, but at the end of the day, that's on you. You know what? That's why I like Tommy, okay? I mean, that's him, okay? That's why we're kindred spirits, because we're both honest. But when Tommy White is honest, he's not honest by my micro experience in a way that he's trying to be mean to you. He's honest to tell you about the situation, okay? So, Tommy White's a survivor. I think that's why I like him. There you go. All right. It is 12:23, and I think I'm going to back out at 7 minutes, mainly because I'm started at, what, 11? 90 minutes? Yeah, so I think that's long enough. I started at 11 with Chris. Patrick and Blackman, could it be the Vegas hype machine that thinks it's a done deal? Yes. Hey, man. Barry Lee says, I say build some hotels next to the Coliseum and lease the Coliseum to an entertainment company like AEG and have the company pay for its upkeep. This way, the JPA sits back and just collects rent. Here's the thing. I think the jury should be out on AEG. I think it's time to really look at the Coliseum and how it gets events. We need an upgrade in that area. AEG is not carrying its weight. AEG is not performing, okay? Maybe we start our own company, you know? We need to do something down there because we're getting away on the cheap and we're not getting anything out of it. It's ridiculous, okay? Eric Young says, when I told Martavius Bryant he was wearing Kenny's number, he boldly corrected me and said, no, he's wearing Martavius Bryant's number. I said, yeah, that depends on what you do with that number. That's too bad that Martavius would not show respect for Raider lore. In fact, Eric, that's a scoop. Thanks for telling me that, man. I think I'm going to take that and design a piece around that, a column. You know, I think I'll do that. Definitely. That's wrong for him to say that. What the heck is wrong with that guy? Man, that's horrible. Or excuse me, that's horrible. 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 And not only that, it's bad too. All right, folks, it's 12:25. And I've got some work to do here that I need to go back and give my time to. But also, I've got to now give Patrick and Blackman his shares. Thank you, Mr. Blackman. I'll make it double, even though I didn't say I was going to do that. I'll make it double for you, all right? Thank you very much. All right. Let's see here. Oh, by the way, a Bernie-crat is running for mayor of San Leandro. San Leandro deserves a fresh, clean start. Progressive slate of candidates will restore integrity and compromise to City Hall. Just got that here. Politics, you gotta love it. And, you know, now there's 40 of you. Doggone it, you're all here. Heck. Are we coming back tomorrow? All right. Folks, awesome. Thank you all. God bless you. And God bless the great United States of America, okay? And I even thank OTC. Outside the lines? No, outside the county. There you go. Ed Marshall says the Raiders will be in Vegas for 2020. The fines the contractors have being late simply dictated. Ed, who cares? All right, you say that they'll be late in 2020. I say they're not playing a full season in 2020. Did you hear what I said? They're not playing a full season in 2020. It ain't happening. Oh, and by the way, Ed, why doesn't the NFL give Vegas a Super Bowl? Oh, and by the way, we're getting days to the Raiders parking plan. It's due September. Ooh. So tell me, you're playing games with words. You're saying the Raiders will be in Vegas in 2020. I'm telling you the Raiders are not playing a full NFL season in 2020. Okay? Ain't happening. In fact, if you take a look at the documents, they already said it's not going to happen because they don't intend on playing the first 2 preseason games there. Hello? Okay? Not there. Not there. Not there. Not there. Not there. Wait, Ed. Ed. Hold on a second. Ed said something that's really stupid. Let me get this. He says the Raiders will be in Vegas. Okay, I got that one. But then you said something that's really stupid because I don't think you're Ed Marshall anyway. They won't miss 1 game in 2020, but I bet. But you know you don't pay up anyhow. I'll bet you right now you're wrong. And I'll bet you $20. Here's why I say that. Because your comment means you didn't look at the contract. And you know what the contract says? It says that the Raiders' first preseason game will not be there. So you already owe me money, pal. Now, do I care? No. Because I know it's not a matter of you paying or not. And as far as Mr. What's his name? The reason why he's never going to get that bet thing, okay, is because he violated a Twitter rule where I could have had his account yanked. So he gets nothing from me. And you'll like it. Now, as for you, you're wrong. Know the documents. The bet I had with him was contingent upon the idea, I thought, that the NFL would not put Mark Davis in a situation where he could lose his shirt. I didn't think they'd do that to him. But guess what? And not only that, too. Oh, shoot. I forgot. It's conditional. It's conditional, okay? It's conditional, okay? It's conditional. It's conditional, okay? It's conditional. It's conditional. That's right. It's conditional. Ta-da. Conditional. He didn't say conditional. Conditional means it can be pulled back. It can be stopped. You can say it goes this far and, yeah, maybe we can't do it anymore. Yeah. Okay. So, Ed, you owe me money. I'm not expecting you to pay it, but you do owe me money because you just demonstrated you don't know the documents. You can talk about what I did with really isn't your business to begin with, really, okay? But in terms of you and I, you fucked up because you didn't know the documents. And besides, you're not even Ed Marshall anyway. I don't know who the heck you really are. I can care less. This is so much fun. Oh, boy, this is so much fun. Woo! Okay. All right. Juan Ramirez says Ed would need to wear a dummy cap. Yeah, Ed is not Ed anyway, so whatever, you know. Because the Ed Marshall that I know, I went to Skyline with. That's the real Ed Marshall. That Marshall was a cool dude. Hope he's okay. Anyway, okay. Bob Hyman says more Dems are opposed to having Pelosi than. What are you talking about? Black Lion says, and you got it, John Marks, bad acting and all. Joseph Business says, yep, we need younger leadership. Huh. I like Dianne Feinstein. I'm sorry. I've heard the stuff about young leadership, but whatever. Okay, all right. So, John Mark says, watch horror films, keep America strong. Speaking of which, I've got a horror film I'm supposed to review called Revenge. Yeah, I've got one called Revenge. There's another one called Predator. Yeah, that's what it's called. John Acala says, Raiders are not playing any games in Vegas until at least 2022 at the earliest. Yeah, they're going to be late, They're going to be late. That's just it. They're not playing a full NFL season. Look, the contract says they're not playing a full NFL season there. It said that. If you actually read the contract, what you have to do is go to, in fact, maybe I can go there right now. Go to Las Vegas Authority website, LV Stadium Authority website, and you go to the documents, okay? Something's documents. No, go to meetings. And you go to the May 22nd meeting, because that's when they had all the list of the, it's May 22nd, March 22nd. Go to the meetings and go to March, so May 18th. Stadium lease agreement. What was that? Meetings. There's a May 11th. Public comment, stadium minutes, high impact project process. I know they signed the bond documents in, let's try March 9th. Name designation. Or I wonder if they took down the links. Yee. I hope not. It looks like they may have done just that. Wow. Hold on a second. No, they couldn't have done that, could they? That'd be a crappy thing to do. No paper trail. But yeah, they did that. They had links to each and every document that was approved or to be approved. 2, 5, 7, and 8, and 10. Yeah, they have. Holy shit. Folks, they went through and why do I feel my blood running cold? Because it's the wrong date. That's why, you stupid idiot. I hope I'm being stupid. Am I? Yeah, I'm being stupid. I'm being stupid. 2018. Yeah, that was the wrong date. Whew, thank God. I didn't think there were people who do things like that. So I'm glad to be wrong. Here we go. Okay, it's May 23rd. Yeah. No, I mean, because the one thing, actually a lot of good things I can say about this effort. One of them is being that it's been pretty easy to find documents when we wanted to look at them, okay? So I just started to go, oh no, they didn't backtrack, did they? I mean, they have a pretty good, I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give their sunshine grade a 65. Oh, excuse me. On a scale of 1 to 100, I would give their sunshine grade a 65. Still a lot of room for improvement, particularly with respect to the bond numbers. I think they play games there, and their emails and stuff like that sort of thing. But hey, there are some places that are in the 35 range in terms of sunshine. So anyway, we've got Stadium Authority release for documents, room tax revenue summary report. What else? Calculation agency agreement, Vegas Stadium revised. There, it's the contract. It's basically the contract timeline that governs the project, and basically spells out when the project is to be completed and that sort of thing. Okay, so within that fine print, it will tell you that the stadium is not to be open. The stadium is not to be. The move-in process to the stadium is not to occur, and nothing should be scheduled before the second game of preseason. At that point, okay, so that immediately wipes out preseason. Now there's a 3-month move-in period that's also put in there. That would take them into October. But someone talked about, well, what was the comment about the penalties? Whatever. Penalties, change orders. A good construction company can turn around and say, hey, you know what? We didn't anticipate X. So therefore, because of X, in fact, I believe I figured out what X might be. Because of X, that part of the contract is void. So be sure you read that entirely. If I would think, if there's a situation, oh, here's a perfect one. They don't have all the money they need to do something. So we're talking about monies, right? So if you don't have all the money you need to complete construction items, how the hell are you going to make a deadline? So the person commenting out there, I think it was somebody saying, oh, maybe it was Ed Marshall saying, oh, hey, well, they have penalties to pay. Read the damn contract. It's a good idea to read it. Just saying. All right. Okay, where are we here? Malcontent is here. What's going on, Malcontent? I know Malcontent said something I missed, or wrote something that I missed. Let's see where he's at. Cowboy Wrestler says something. Hey, Unknown Raider Guy, how you doing? Unknown Raider Guy is always welcome. Unknown Raider Guy, unlike Ed Marshall's a good dude. Ed Marshall can just... whatever. Corey Brown says if they move in, and Unknown Raider Guy lives in Vegas, right? Good dude. All right. So welcome, Unknown Raider Guy. How's things going? Cowboy Wrestler says, will the Raiders play at Avaya Stadium if they decide to go to San Jose? Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Unknown Raider Guy says, what? Don't be surprised if you're wrong about what? Oh, you're talking about politics. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Patrick in Blackman says UNLV has been rather quiet. Yeah, they can't do anything there. Where you working, Unknown Raider Guy? Cowboy Wrestler says, okay, because I don't think the San Jose Stadium is up to NFL standards. I'll find out. I'll find out. And who else? Malcontent. Malcontent said something. Let's see here. Malcontent said something. What happens if Raiders don't come up with a parking plan by next month? Curtains. Actually, you know what? Speaking of parking plan, let's see if let's go and see the agenda and see if they've actually put any information out on about that. Okay, the next meeting is September 20th. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. Last meeting was July 19th. They just had the room tax summary report. That's about it. And the personal seat license brochure. All right. It is, okay, that's it. So, where are we here? There. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? We are... Patrick M. Blackman says, who is advising Mark Davis on all of this? Mark Bidet. Joseph Binsman says, shark attack here in Cape Cod today. You're in Cape Cod? Nice. First one here since summer of 2012. Was it a great white? Malcolmton says, John Marks, I've only been to a few A's games, 10 to 15, each of the last several years, but the changes Dave Cavall and his team have made at the Coliseum are awesome. I agree. John Acala says, what happens if Raiders don't come up with a parking plan? Right. Black Lion says, we have to make sure that the Raiders don't play any place but the Coliseum. I agree. All right, folks. That's it. I'm gone. Thank you all. See you tomorrow night. Fun stuff. Double fun stuff. Triple fun stuff. Quadruple fun stuff. Unknown Raider guy says, thanks, I'm a good guy. I'm a Raider. Wherever they go, everyone entitled to how they feel. Just can't stand ones who say F Vegas. That's my problem. Hey, Unknown Raider guy, let me give you some advice. Don't care about what anybody writes if you don't know their real name, okay? And if you're having a cocktail with them and everything else, don't worry about it. I mean, after all, this, it's all a game. And you got to keep it that. You got to keep that in mind. I mean, hey, this is, well, whatever. All right. I got to go. I really got to go this time. Good night, everybody. See you later. And thanks. Thank you. 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 And I thank you. And I thank you again and again and again. Thank you. All right, see ya.